How do you fuck this up twice? Well, we're here, everybody. We are at the finale of Dexter New Blood. Absolute full spoilers from here on out. All of my reviews have been spoiler-filled, but I feel like it's especially important to say for this episode. So if you have not watched the episode, please do not watch this review. Go check it out with extremely low expectations, and then come back out and check this video. So, turns out this is a series finale, not a season finale. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. And you know what? I planned on watching the finale last night and then immediately coming in here and getting my video done and talking about my first initial thoughts. And I was so angry that I couldn't do it, or it would have just been 30 minutes of me bitching. And who the fuck knows? Even after sleeping on it, that might be exactly what this video turns out to be. But how do you, I'm struggling for words. How do you have so many years to formulate and write and work out a new ending for this character, a new ending for this series, a new ending for the fans? You spend a year building all of our hopes up, talking about we're getting the original director back and we're doing this, and Michael C. Hall is so excited, and this was the first script that he said yes to, and you know, even Scott Reynolds, the showrunner's putting out tweets about this is the best thing that he's ever written as far as how to end the character, and getting all of us hyped up that we're finally going to have the ship righted, that we're finally going to have the ending that this character deserves, or that will satisfy the fans, just to give us another gigantic middle finger. Now, let me be clear. There's some of you that probably watched this finale that liked it, and that's fine. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm not trying to, you know, say that you're wrong or that your experience was skewed. No, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Even if you're somebody that was on the fence, doesn't really think it's all that bad, and you think I'm going to be a little bit too extreme with my displeasure for it. Again, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I wanted to enjoy it so much. I really walked in. I was nervous, but I'm like, please, just land the plane. Just give us an ending. Just give us something, please, that's satisfying. And the twisted knife was that this episode spent 90% of its runtime setting up so many interesting directions that could have been a really good ending, a really interesting ending for this show and for this character, just to ignore everything that it spent the whole episode setting up and just do this little switcheroo ending in the last 5 minutes where Harrison's suddenly a good guy out of absolutely nowhere and then kills his father. Who wrote that down and thought that was going to be satisfying for fans? That's what I want to understand. That's what I want to know. And now look, clearly there was only two avenues to go. Either Dexter was going to die or Dexter was going to get caught. If they had done the thing where he gets away scot-free and changes his identity and goes to L, that would have been horrible. That would have been stupid. So clearly if they were going to end it, it was one of those two avenues. And I'm not here saying that him dying in concept is what I'm upset about, because there's a way you could have done that to where it would have made sense. Just like I was the guy telling you in my season 8 review, and I fucking hate that season, that the idea of him faking his death, giving up everything in his life that he cares about and going into self-exile, in concept is a good ending. It was the execution that was off in that entire finale. Dead being killed off screen, Batista and Quinn seeing him murder somebody right in front of their eyes and not really giving us any kind of closure on their thoughts on that with all of the history that Dexter has had. I could go on and on. Go check out that review. And then this episode does the exact same fucking thing, setting up all these things that's going to finally give us closure, that's going to give us satisfaction, that's going to wrap things up for season-long arcs, just to give us the giant middle finger and say, nope, we're not going to answer any of that shit. We're just going to go off into this little scene in the woods.
Fuck, motherfucker! Motherfucker! You know how fucking stupid you fucking are! No!
Why bring Batista back? Why have that scene where Angela calls Batista and gives him just enough information, including the scene where he sees that Dexter's still alive and the acting in his eyes like, holy shit. Why give him the realization that Dexter's alive and that he might actually have been the Bay Harbor Butcher all this time, and tell us as audience members that Batista's on the way, and build up in our heads this expectation that we're going to get this confrontation between Batista and Dexter. There's going to be this big, emotional, dramatic moment where Batista's going to walk up to Dexter's cell or wherever the hell he's at by the end of the episode, look him in the eye with tears in his eyes, and it was you. All along it was you. Dokes got killed because of you. Deborah got killed because of you. My wife got killed because of you. I defended you. I believed in you. I loved you. It was you. You put that in our heads and then deny it. Deny us that whole fucking scene. Batista's just on the way by the end of the episode. Fuck you.
How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up?
I'm getting mad. I see. Sleeping on it didn't change anything. You set up that as the potential ending of this series and didn't follow through with that? Why the hell would you think that's a good idea? Even other things that they set up. Dexter is sitting there, Angela has him dead to fucking rights, and he knows it. But he gives just enough doubt in the room that it was Kurt all along, to the point where Detective Logan, or Sheriff Logan, or Deputy Logan, whatever you want to call him, is telling her, like, hey, he's making me doubt this shit, so he's definitely going to make a jury and a judge doubt this shit. And it doesn't matter if she believes it wholeheartedly, there is so much evidence against him, against Kurt, and so much doubt against Dexter that that would never have stuck. And so he tells her to turn the camera off and tells her, off record, you were right about Kurt. He's a fucking scumbag. He's a murderer. He's been doing this for years. And there's all these bodies in this hatch. Go check it out. And she goes and checks it out. So you set up this whole thing where him giving her that missing piece of the puzzle that she has spent decades trying to put together, to the point where he even reiterates it for the audience that the entire police force, the entire town, doesn't fucking believe her. She's been walking around for decades with this hunch that all of these girls that's plastered on the entire left side of her fucking office are victims of one guy in this town, and it's the same guy that killed her best friend Iris that has been this gigantic vice on her heart for decades. He gives her that missing piece, letting us know as audience members she's going to have to make a moral decision. She's going to get this information, and she's going to have to decide whether or not she is going to thank Dexter or repay him by letting him go or doing something, or if she's going to get that information and still try to fuck him over. They set up that as an avenue to go by the end of the episode, and that goes fucking nowhere. Why set up all of these avenues for interesting endings and then go with the most obvious vanilla ending that anybody watching this show could have predicted, and not in a good way? And not in a good way. You know how many people I saw on Twitter last night when I searched Dexter, just looking to see what the general consensus was with this ending, how much trouble I was going to be in for bitching about this thing the next day. And I was seeing all of these tweets from days earlier with people saying, man, I hope Harrison doesn't just kill this guy. I hope it's because everybody knew with the writing on the wall that that was the dumbest fucking way to take this character out. And that is, of course, the way that they chose. Why are we as audience members supposed to embrace that ending? Yes, Dexter needs to pay for what he has done. Either by getting killed or by going to jail and paying for everything and you know, admitting to everything and putting the answers to all these lingering questions for 8 seasons. Why would you set up so many captivating ways to go this route and then pull a switcheroo and go this route at the end? With a character that, I'm sorry, a lot of us watching this season don't really like that much. I've said it for episodes now. And just over the past episode and a half have I really started to warm up to Harrison, so they kind of fucked that up too. But you have a character where literally almost the entire show, his entire character arc, his entire character development has been angry punk teenager. And I understand logically why he's been that way. I've said that over and over again. He's got a reason to be pissed at his dad. He's got a reason to be pissed at the world. But as viewers, it's not entertaining to have episode after episode after episode of them almost having the conversation that they need to have to resolve all this bullshit, just for Harrison to run away all pissed off like a little bitch and Dexter to go, I got other shit to go on. And then it just, we'll see you next week. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. And then next week does the same thing. And then the week after that does the same thing. And so most of this show has made Harrison out to be a psycho, to be somebody that wants to hurt people, to be somebody that literally ruined a kid's life, who maybe would have eventually actually been a shooter, but was not planning on shooting anybody. He stabbed a fucking kid and faked this whole crime scene and destroyed this kid's life and his parents' life to feed his dark passenger. You have a kid that snapped a kid's elbow in the middle of a crowded room because he just wanted to hurt somebody. You have a kid that pulled a straight razor, and if Dexter had not been there to stop him, might have just murdered 3 more wrestlers in that back parking lot. This kid's fucked in the head. They have explained that and hammered that into our heads this entire season. But you want us to buy that at the very last moment, at the most critical moment in the show, he decides that he's not going to go down that dark path anymore. He's going to make the conscious decision to be good and be this holier-than-thou fucking white knight and take out his father. Nope. Not buying it. Something else I'm not buying that has been going on for a couple episodes now is Angela putting together all of this shit that 8 seasons of much bigger and smarter characters could not put together themselves. Dexter got out of a serial killer hunter from the FBI. Dexter has gotten away from other serial killers. Dexter evaded his fucking sister for decades. And you're going to tell me that this woman, who is a smart woman, puts all that shit together through a bunch of weird inferences, a couple of Google searches, and a bunch of shit that's just conveniently laid in her lap. And that's supposed to be satisfying for us. Nope, not at all. Something else that doesn't make sense that's been going on for a couple of episodes that is not my Dexter. You're gonna tell me, as blatantly fucking obvious that it is, if you just look at this woman's face for a second, that Angela not only doesn't like Dexter anymore, but seriously is suspecting him of some shit. You're gonna tell me that Dexter's gonna go spend all Christmas with her. He's gonna hang out with her at the crime scene of his burned house. He's gonna go hang out with her and try to make dinner in front of her. You're gonna tell me that his fucking Dexter sense isn't tingling every single time that he's around her when he says, I love you, and she doesn't say anything. When he tries to hug her and she just like does this and doesn't even put her arms around him. When he's looking at her lovingly and she's like, you're gonna tell me he's not picking up on the fact that something's wrong? That's not Dexter. I'm sorry. He's done a lot of shit this season that have frustrated me, that I've tried to forgive as like, okay, he's been out of, the killing thing for a while, especially him leaving a fucking blood trail from the crime scene all the way to his cabin in episode 2. But I'll forgive that. Okay, fine. Narratively, you're trying to say that he's a little rusty. Okay, fine. But he's done a lot of shit this season, especially in this last episode where it's like, dude, that is not Dexter. That is not smart. That is not what he would do. Even the whole thing about him killing Logan. Up to that point in the show, I'm satisfied. When he's sitting in the jail cell and he's caused enough doubt and he's sent Angela to that hatch and he's sitting there knowing that Batista is on his way, like, I'm still really satisfied. I'm still really invested and on edge about what's going to happen. From this moment forward is where everything starts to go off the rails. When he grabs Logan and tells him to let him out of the cell, that just doesn't feel like Dexter to me. That doesn't feel like smart Dexter. He knows he's gotten away with this. He knows that they don't have enough to tie him to this. And he knows they probably don't have enough to tie him to Bay Harbor Butcher. Yes, people are going to ask some fucking questions, and it's going to be a little bit weird to try to explain to Batista how he faked his death and why the hell he's in New York. But there's not really anything tying him to that besides a bunch of inferences. Even to the point where the show conveniently tries to forget that he always used M99 to take out his victims, and now they're trying to say that because he used ketamine once, that's going to tie him to Bay Harbor Butcher, when that right there is a giant fucking plot hole that any Dexter fan will tell you is a plot hole. But no, he decides that even though he's beat this dead to rights, he has gotten out of this slip knot like he has done dozens of times. No, the only way out of this is to freak out and kill an innocent person, which he has never done. Ever. Whether it was an accident or not, he has never killed an innocent person to try to get out of a tight little situation. Maybe people have gotten killed because of his actions, but he has never physically snapped somebody innocent's neck. He was about to do it with LaGuerta, and he didn't even kill LaGuerta. There might be one that I'm forgetting. Somebody's going to correct me. Yeah, he did it this time. But for the most part, that's not him. That's not his code. That's not his morals. So he kills Logan, doesn't even really care, runs off to his kid, doesn't bother to explain the blood in a way that's not going to piss his kid off. When his kid's like, whose blood is that? Is that you? Wait a minute, you called me from Logan's phone. Yeah, we got in a fight. He's knocked out back at the station. We got to go. We got to get the fuck out of here. Is it that hard to say that? I literally said that while the episode was going on. And I'm not even Dexter. Dexter's like high intellect level of getting out of shit. I'm just ranting. I know I'm ranting. This is not a good review because I'm not actually reviewing the episode. I'm just bitching about it. But guys, I am so unsatisfied with this ending. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I can say that this ending is better than season 8. I can tell you that this season is certainly better than season 8. I can tell you that this finale as a whole episode is certainly better than the finale of season 8. But this actual ending, I don't think I'm more satisfied with this than I was the Lumberjack exile thing. And part of it's because of all of the renewed hope that they gave me. All of the rejuvenated happiness of a Dexter fan that they gave me from episode 1, where he's being Jim Lindsay for 3/4 of the entire episode, and then finally kills that guy, or hits that guy in the face, and you hear, "Hello, Dexter Morgan." Like, just that moment just rejuvenated me like the fucking, like the Grinch, where his heart grew 5 times. That was me watching that episode. Just to get to the ending once again and go, what the fuck did you do? This is seriously all you could think of? There's nothing creative about this ending. It almost feels like they were desperate to kill the character off just to be done with it. Just to tie everything up so people will stop asking for more Dexter. That's honestly what it feels like. It honestly blows me away that this is going to be the show's legacy. Now, I mean, it's still early. I could put this review out and find out that it's 50-50. 50% of people like it, 50% of people don't. I could find out that I'm in the vast minority by the time that everybody sees this finale. I'm just assuming right now that a lot of people are not going to be happy with this ending. And it blows me away that the legacy of Dexter, one of the greatest shows ever, is going to be that it's the show that gave fans one of the worst endings twice. And I guarantee you too, you put the fucking chips down on the table and you mark my words. At some point tomorrow, I'm going to say it, not even a day later, tomorrow, they're going to announce plans for some kind of a continuation or a spinoff focused on Harrison. Maybe even with Michael C. Hall coming back as his dark passenger. Fuck that. I'm not watching. Sorry. I know I'm not everybody, but sorry, Showtime. No. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not fooling me a third time. And, that brings a whole other logic issue for me. So you have this ending, and the whole theme of this ending with them reading the monologue with this letter and everything as Harrison drives off all dramatically is that they're trying to say that Dexter had to die so that Harrison could live. Like, Dexter was the reason all along that he had this darkness, which to a certain extent is right, but it's not like Dexter being dead is suddenly going to wash all of that darkness away. Now Harrison is still full-on fucking psycho kid that just happened to act high and mighty for one moment in the most inopportune time, and he's eventually going to fuck up and kill somebody, or hurt somebody, or continue to just be on this weird path with nobody to guide him. And the thing that doesn't make sense to me, the logic issue that I have with that, is that, okay, if on paper that's your idea, that Dexter realizes in that little flashback moment with all those faces that he is the author of all these people's pain, and as long as his heart is still beating, eventually Harrison is going to be one of those faces, and so he wants to die so that his son can live. Okay, you didn't quite execute it that way, but I'll go on board with it for a second for the sake of argument. So your method of doing that is to make your son take his first life? You're trying to suppress his darkness You're trying to make it to where he does not end up like you. You're trying to kill the killer part of this family's legacy so that he can go on and live a normal life. And your method for that is to make the kid that has been fighting his darkness for his entire life finally kill somebody? Great plan, Dex. Nothing about this made sense to me. Nothing about this was satisfying. Even to the point, here's another thing. Jesus Christ. Okay, Angela comes in, and she sees that Dexter's down for the count, and she gives Harrison money. She takes the gun away. She gives him a hug, which, by the way, great job, genius. You think you're such a smart, genius detective that just broke the biggest case ever with the Bay Harbor Butcher, and you're so fucking smart. You're standing in front of this kid who's clearly fucked up, who got into a knife fight with this kid that was like this weird conclusive thing that she just kind of let go. You have it to where he snapped a kid's arm, which you know about. You have this other fight with these kids that he just told you about previous in this episode. He's hanging out with Dexter the entire time. He likely knows all the shit that Dexter's been doing, or the fact that he killed Matt or possibly killed Kurt, all of this stuff, and you don't even suspect any of that and you just let this kid go. Great job. But she gives him a hug. She says, take I-85, get out of here, don't let anybody see you. Hey, can you tell? No, I can't tell anybody anything because I didn't see you, just go. Lets him go. Helps him escape town and get away from the fate that was going to be coming down on him. And what is the first thing that Harrison does? Takes his father's truck in this tiny-ass podunk town that everybody and their fucking mother is going to recognize, drives right past the crime scene of Sheriff Logan, where all the rest of the police force in town is camped out, and pauses and like looks at him as he's driving by and leaves town that way. Oh my God. I'm gonna try to wrap this up before I just go on and on and on. I hated this ending. I didn't necessarily hate the episode. Everything up to the last 10 minutes I was on board with, and I really liked all the things that it was setting up, all these potential avenues, but then they took the absolute worst avenue, the most dissatisfying avenue, the least creative and least meaningful avenue to end this show, to end this character that we have loved for over a decade. I'm pissed about that. Like, you literally gave me hope just to crash me back down again. I'm not satisfied with this at all. I'm not satisfied with the fact that we never got to see Batista actually confront Dexter. Why you would give us hope that that was going to happen just to not give it to us is fucking unforgivable. The fact that you have this detective in this town that nobody is going to be satisfied or by the fact that she's finally the one to break this case because of all these conveniences when she's the same fucking person who spent decades in this tiny ass town not being able to figure out that Clancy Brown's a fucking killer when he's like the most obvious goddamn bad guy in this little town you could possibly have, aside from the fucking oil tycoon guy that showed up for an episode and a half and then just disappeared. You make Harrison one of the most insufferable and unlikable characters off and on throughout this show to give him the task to kill his father, this character that we have loved for so long, just to set up a fucking spinoff for a character that we don't give a shit about. And you mark my words, it's gonna happen. No. I'm gonna have to think on it for a little bit before I do my season ranking, but as of right now, the season as a whole is better than season 8, but it might not be better than anything else above that, honestly. And I might be in the minority with that. I'm somebody that does not like season 6, but I would rather watch season 6 than this. I do not like this as an ending. I am not happy as a Dexter fan. I'm fucking pissed that I got renewed hope and went all throughout these 10 weeks talking about this show, building up excitement for this show, being excited about this show just to get my fucking balls stomped again in this finale with a totally bullshit ending for this character. So I'm done ranting. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I really do. I hope that I'm in the minority. I would much rather be in the minority and have most people be satisfied with this than to have everybody and their mother be as upset as I am. But we'll find out. Let me know down in the comment section, guys, what you think about this finale, this ending for Dexter. Did you dislike the entire episode? Did you love the entire episode? Was there a moment in the episode where it had you and then went off the rails? What other version of an ending for Dexter would you rather have seen? Either one that they clearly set up in this episode or one that maybe you wanted or think would be a better thing that they didn't even go that direction? Let me know down below, guys, and we'll talk about it. I am going to be doing a season ranking of Dexter in 2 days, And then 2 days after that, on Thursday, we're going to do a live stream spoiler talk about this entire season. My buddy CP is going to be joining me, and I'm also trying to get Sean Chandler as well, who is mostly committed to doing this. Just got to see how timing works out. So we will be talking Dexter for the rest of this week, and then I also will be doing a ranking of all of his villains the week after. So I wish it could have been a good conversation. I'm fucking crushed. I'm literally crushed that it's going to have to be a negative conversation now when I talk about Dexter New Blood, but I gotta be honest, I'm not happy. I'm still visibly and emotionally just fucked up right now from what they did, and I'm not happy. So you guys let me know. Please like and share this video, hit the subscribe button. If you do like Dexter, we're still gonna be talking about it for a while. Please check out my other reviews. I've reviewed every single season in this show leading up to Dexter New Blood. And as always, remember, opinions are like assholes. That doesn't mean that you have to be.